Okay, so we are going to create a value scale and shade it with our pencil because we are about to go through a whole bunch of pencil projects. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this strip of paper. You need to cut it 3 inches off the end of one of your small pieces of paper. Fold it in half. Fold it in half again. And then fold it in half again. All right, then you got all these sections. Now, the way I show you how to shade with your pencil is very, very important, okay? You can't be fast on this. Well, you can be fast, you just can't be sloppy with it. I don't want you to do really long strokes because it makes really not nice shading, okay? So I'm just putting a line in between these, and I want you to be able to get rid of the line as you shade. You need to make sure your pencil is sharpened. You need to use wood pencils because it's easier to shade with wood pencils. All right, as you get into upper level art, I'll show you how to use different grades of different pencils that are dark and light. But we're going to try to get as many shades out of this one pencil as we possibly can. So I've got this is going to start out as black as I can get my pencil to go, and it's going to gradually get lighter. So what you're going to do is, I like to hold my pencil like this. And if you'll look, I will shade in very short strokes, okay? You can go as fast as you want to go, but you want to do short little strokes. If you go like this, you'll never get the scratches out of it, okay? And it'll look sloppy. We want this to be short little strokes. I kind of shade in little ovals or circles. And the harder you bear down on your pencil, the darker it's going to be. Now, when you get into upper level arts, I try to, if we have the budget for it, I like to include using the different drawing pencils to teach you how to shade with those, because there's specific drawing pencils you can get that, like a 6B is darker than a 4B pencil, and a 4B pencil is darker than a 2B pencil. A 2B pencil is darker than an HB pencil. And then it usually has softer leads. And then you can also use like your H pencils, which I usually use for sketching because you want them to be lighter. And the higher the number gets on those, the lighter it gets. B pencils, the higher the number that it gets, is the darker it is. But we are going to use our just handy dandy little pencils that we get to do our schoolwork with, but they need to be wood pencils, just so that you won't be shading with the point of the pencil, because it's hard to get rid of the scratches when you do that. Now, the way you keep making this darker is you want to keep a sharp point. That's why you saw me switch pencils here, because I have two sharpened pencils. And I'm using the side of my point. And if you use the side of your point, you won't have to sharpen your pencil quite as much. All right. Once you feel like you've got this as dark as the pencil will go, and it probably could get darker, then you're going to go to the next one, and you're going to create a little bit lighter shade. Notice I'm doing short little strokes again. I'm going as fast as I want to go, but I'm using short little strokes. I'm not going like that. And I don't want you to smear it with your fingers or any kind of shading stump or anything like that. I want you to get as many shades out of this pencil as you can get. All right, so this took a big jump, I think, to the next level. So I'm going to go back and make it a little darker, because you want it to be a gradual change. So each section is just going to get a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter and a little bit lighter. Okay, so you don't want this to match this one. You just want to make sure it's just a little bit lighter than the first one. All right, so the next one is going to get a little bit lighter. And the way I do that is I just don't bear down as much. Notice I'm still using the side of my pencil point, and I'm doing short little strokes. Okay, so you can see 3 different values right there, and then I'm going to get a little bit lighter. And I'm going to lighten up my lines too, because if you'll notice, when I put 2 different shades next to each other, it takes away that line, all right? And so you don't want 2 shades separated by a line. You want an edge, which an edge is a line. I'm not bearing down as much, and when I say I'm not bearing down as much, I'm not touching the paper as hard. Short little strokes. So when you finish this, you should end with a white piece. So you would not shade in this one at all. And you're going to erase the lines as you go, because we do not want lines, we want edges. You don't want it looking scratchy either. I like to go shade in different directions because it makes it more layered and a little smoother. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make this a lot lighter. Please do not smear with your fingers. Don't smudge it with your fingers or a paper towel, because I want you to get as many shades out of this without using any other kind of tool. Just this project. Now you can use the shading stump on the next project, but not on this one. See how I'm going back the opposite way? It just gives me a little bit smoother texture. And notice again how short my strokes are. If you pay attention to how I'm using my pencil, you will have very successful projects. If you rush on it and not care how it looks and don't take into the consideration of my suggestions, it's not going to look as nice. Okay, so this one probably needs to get a little darker. Okay, so the next one gets a little bit lighter. And I'm barely touching the paper now. Short little strokes. I also like to put like a stack of paper or something under what I'm shading, because sometimes you can pick up the scratches in the table. So if you have like a lap desk or something that's smooth to draw on, it would help your drawings out. All right, so I've got one more to shade because the last one's going to be white. All right, notice not one of them has a line showing. I'm going to go this way. I would say barely there. Call it barely there. You're barely touching it. And then your last one is going to be plain white. Mm. Okay, so then you have white. So you start out as dark as your pencil will go all the way to here. Then you'll take a picture of this and enter it on your digital portfolio with the essential question answered.